Goran Ivanisevic's tennis story is as unpredictable as his game. Explosive, emotional, and sometimes self-destructive, Ivanisevic wasn't built to play by the book, and that's exactly what made him unforgettable. With a cannon for a serve and a volatile on-court presence, he was one of the sport's original servebots, players who dominated with overwhelming serve power, often at the expense of traditional baseline rallying. But reducing him to that label would be a mistake. Goran was more than his serve. He was a contradiction, a powerhouse with a poet's soul, a man who stumbled his way into greatness. Goran Ivanisevic was born on September 13, 1971, in Split, Yugoslavia, into a sports-oriented family. His father was an engineer and his mother a chemical technician, but both were passionate about sports. Goran gravitated to tennis early, showing natural flair and a left-handed serve that would later become his signature weapon. He turned professional in 1988 at just 17 years old and quickly began making noise on the ATP Tour. In 1990, 19-year-old Ivanisevic stunned the field by reaching the Wimbledon semifinals, where he lost to eventual champion Stefan Edberg. The tennis world took notice, not just of his serve, but of his raw emotional energy. During the 1990s, men's tennis saw a new breed of players rise, those who leaned heavily on powerful serves to win points quickly and deny opponents rhythm. Ivanisevic was an early prototype of this serve-bot model. He didn't construct points in long rallies. He didn't wait for openings. He served big, charged the net, and ended points fast. His approach was both effective and divisive. He led the ATP Tour in aces multiple times and still ranks among the all-time leaders, even decades after retirement. His left-handed delivery combined with a tall frame and aggressive stance made his serve nearly unreadable. Returners dreaded facing him, especially on grass courts. But Goran was never a robotic serve machine. Unlike later servebots who lacked variety, Ivanisevic could volley, had a decent forehand, and displayed touch. What set him apart too was his unpredictability. One game he'd serve 4 aces in a row. The next, he'd double fault twice and smash a racket. It was both maddening and magnetic. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to uncover more untold stories of forgotten legends, underdog warriors, and the athlete's history almost left behind. Ivanisevic's relationship with Wimbledon was intense and painful. Over the 1990s, he reached the final 3 times, 1992, 1994, and 1998, and lost all of them. In 1992, he faced Andre Agassi in a classic final. Agassi, the baseline counterpuncher, outlasted Goran's serve-heavy approach in a 5-set thriller. It was a tough loss, but many assumed Goran's time would come soon. 2 years later, he faced Pete Sampras, the king of grass. Despite playing well, Ivanisevic couldn't match Sampras' consistency and mental toughness. He lost again in straight sets. Then came 1998. A more experienced Ivanisevic reached the final once more, this time against Sampras again. It was his best shot. He played inspired tennis, pushed Sampras to 5 sets, but faltered in the decider. Another crushing defeat. 3 finals, 3 losses. Many thought that was it. His chance had passed. By the late 1990s, Ivanisevic's career began to unravel. His shoulders started to give out. The miles of pounding serves and years of physical strain took a toll. His ranking plummeted, and his confidence took hits. The ATP Tours, always unforgiving, started to pass him by. In 2001, Goran was ranked 125th in the world. He had dropped out of the top 100, was dealing with chronic shoulder issues, and hadn't won a significant title in years. Most assumed retirement was around the corner. Goran wasn't done. In a move that would become legendary, Wimbledon offered Goran a wildcard entry in 2001. It was part courtesy, part nostalgia. No one expected him to do much. And then the magic happened. Ivanisevic, free from pressure and with nothing to lose, started knocking down seeds. Carlos Moya, Andy Roddick, Marat Safin, all fell to the resurgent Croat. His serve, unreliable for years, suddenly caught fire again. His confidence surged. The center court crowds rallied behind him. In the semifinals, he outlasted Tin Hinman in a rain-interrupted, nerve-shredding match that stretched over 3 days. Then in the final, he faced Patrick Rafter, a fan favorite and formidable opponent. The 2001 Wimbledon final was electric. A packed center court, standing room only. The match went to 5 sets and emotions ran high throughout. Ivanisevic, serving at 8-7 in the final set, finally closed it out on his 4th championship point. When the last ball was struck and Rafter's return sailed long, Ivanisevic collapsed. He had done the unthinkable. A wild card had won Wimbledon. It was one of the most emotional, improbable, and beloved victories in tennis history. The 2001 Wimbledon win was Ivanisevic's final great act as a player. He had rewritten his legacy. No longer the nearly man, he was a Grand Slam champion. He briefly continued to play, even appearing at the 2004 Olympics, but injuries persisted, and he retired in 2004. His final singles record, 599 wins, 333 losses, and 22 ATP titles. But the numbers don't tell the full story. Goran's impact was emotional. Fans didn't just remember his serve, they remembered how he wore his heart on his sleeve. He could be brilliant one minute and disastrous the next. He was human in a way that most top players tried not to be. What do you think? Is Ivanisevic the greatest player to win only one Grand Slam? Drop your take in the comments. After retirement, Ivanisevic transitioned into coaching and commentary. In 2013, he started working with Marin Cilic, another Croat with a big serve and big name. Under Goran's guidance, Cilic won the 2014 US Open, validating Goran's skills as a mentor. Later, Ivanisevic joined Novak Djokovic's coaching team in 2019. With Djokovic, he brought his experience to a player who was already one of the greats, but who still benefited from Goran's grass court knowledge and big match wisdom. Together, they added more Grand Slams to Djokovic's tally, solidifying Goran's second act in the sport. In 2020, Ivanisevic was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Ivanisevic is often grouped with other servebots. Players like Ivo Karlovic, John Isner, and Milos Raonic, whose games are centered around overwhelming serve power. But Goran always bristled at the term. He wasn't robotic. His game was full of flair, risk, and often chaos. Yes, his serve was his greatest weapon, but it wasn't just speed or placement. It was art. He could bend it wide, carve it down the tee, or hit slice bombs from impossible angles. His lefty motion was fluid and deceptive, unlike the statico power deliveries of later big servers. And crucially, he had touch. He could volley, drop shot, and improvise. His hands at the net were soft, and his movement, while sometimes erratic, could surprise you with bursts of brilliance. He wasn't a machine. He was a musician with a flamethrower. What ultimately separates Ivanisevic is his emotional transparency. He didn't hide who he was. He argued with umpires, smashed rackets, talked to himself, yelled at the sky. Fans could relate to him because he felt things deeply. Winning wasn't just about stats or rankings. It was about redemption, frustration, and pride. The 2001 Wimbledon title wasn't just a sports win. It was a storybook ending for a man who had endured almost a decade of near misses, criticism, and injuries. It was a win for everyone who ever got written off. Ivanisevic showed that you didn't need to be perfect to win. You just needed one moment and the belief to go after it. Goran Ivanisevic's place in history is secure, not just as one of the greatest servers of all time, but as one of its most human champions. He was an early serve bot, yes, but one with a soul, a player who made you feel every high and every heartbreak. In the end, his wildcard run in 2001 wasn't a fluke. It was destiny. Delayed, battered, and unlikely, but fully earned. Goran didn't rewrite tennis history with perfection. He did it with guts, chaos, and a serve that'll echo in Wimbledon lore forever. Thanks for watching. If you want more stories like this, subscribe and turn on notifications, and let us know in the comments down below whose story should we cover next.